mental health, medical careers. We actually went into the school, into a health education classroom, and taught these different subjects. So the first one is computer safety, and Doug's just going to say a couple things about what he talked about.
My name is Doug Emmerich, and I work with the RHCHP Distance Education Program. And I don't really work with real students; they're all just like virtual entities to me. So seeing all of you here makes me realize that if you feed them, they will come. I'm one of the first staff members, I believe, to go on one of these trips, which is a real honor. And my background of working with computers was what kind of made it a shoe-in. This was a topic we hadn't covered, or I understand hadn't been covered previously. And going on the internet can be a marvelous experience. It can also be a dangerous experience if you don't know what you're getting into. And unfortunately, we only had about 15 minutes, but it was really fantastic because none of the kids wasted any of the time. They were really interested. They asked good questions. And in a life previous to coming to Regis, I was a teacher, and I taught kids about this age, and I have a daughter exactly this age. So it was nice to see that these kids are in fact kids, like any other kid I've taught anywhere else. However, they carry the burden of living in a society with this generational poverty, and that they had in fact experienced this great tragedy and the loss of a classmate, something I never had to experience or endure when I was their age. But instead of shunning us and giving us the impression that, well, this is an awful time for you to be here, you are invading on us, we were really welcomed with open arms. They were funny, they asked great questions, they were involved in all of the stations, and ultimately, coming away from this, I just would have to say that it was not only great working with those kids and realizing that these small little things that we do for them, even as short as they are, can help to maybe give them a touchstone or something that they can take with them in their life to kind of reflect back on, and then when they reach these hurdles, give them something that can help them surpass them. I also would like to say, since we have some faculty in the room, that working with these real students as well was fantastic. They were perfect ambassadors of Regis and were a realistic example of the answer to the question, how ought we live, to live?
All right, and then we did a booth on nutrition.
I'm just going to talk from here. So the first day we did nutrition, and we just really wanted to focus on a balanced diet and portion size, because the kids aren't controlling what's being made. They can only control what they eat. But they actually already had a lot of background into what a balanced diet is from the health instructor that they had for that class. So it was really good to just kind of reinforce what they already do.
And then physical activity.
So then the next day, after we did nutrition, we decided to change it up a little and do physical activity, because there's a huge obesity rate with the Native American population. And so we just wanted to encourage these kids to get their heart rates up doing whatever they wanted to do, whether it was play basketball or jump rope or run around, and just letting them know that they can find other ways to exercise. You don't have to run 10 miles and call it good. So they actually really enjoyed that. It was like a little recess that they got to do. So that was fun.
And their basketball team wins state every year, the girls and the boys. And we actually were playing basketball, and the girls were like beating the guys. Like, I've never seen that, and they weren't like trying to look all cute and stuff. They were in their face and getting all sweaty, and it was really awesome to see. Drugs and alcohol?
Okay, so I did the drugs and alcohol station with these kids, and like we've discussed earlier, there's a high incidence of alcoholism and drug use on the reservation, and it was kind of a very difficult time to go over this with just that homicide that had just occurred, but the kids were really, really opened up to me. We had some really good discussions, and what I noticed, they've already heard this stuff before, they have a really awesome teacher up there. So I try to kind of get them talking about their own personal experiences and give them facts about how drugs and alcohol literally affect your body. And it was really eye-opening for me to see that it's not like drug and alcohol use of young people that I've ever known or seen in this metro area. it's, a lot of it was family, like, whereas instead of going out with your friends and having a good time and getting all crazy, it was, they saw it every day with their families. You were like the odd man out if you didn't have an alcoholic parent. And, yeah, it was just really intense. But the kids were great, like everybody said. They were really interactive and they were really, really smart, good kids. So, great experience.
I helped out with that booth for one day, and we actually asked, so what's the difference between, I think it was meth and heroin? And we were talking about neurological and this, what goes in your body, and one's like, oh yeah, they draw it up in the yellow, the heroin's the yellow stuff they drop in the syringe.
Yeah, like they had all.
And the meth, and they explained the whole thing to us, and it was a 12-year-old, so, and then someone else was telling, we were talking about responsibility, and, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely an issue. But these are drug goggles that we put on the kids to see what it felt like or whatever. And then this was a game that we played. And sexual health.
Right, so the teacher we worked with at the middle school, her name was Cece. She had been emailing with me, and we discussed a few topics that the kids were really interested in learning about. They were actually doing a sexual health unit in class. So she just picked out a few points that she wanted to reiterate with them. So I went kind of designed my booth around that, and then yeah, we left some time for some questions and answers, passed out a bunch of pamphlets, things like that. Yeah, it was really great. These kids, I mean, you could ask them anything from any of these booths, and they would give you the strict textbook answer. Like, they knew this stuff. So it was more just relating with them one-on-one and really seeing what issues matter to them individually, and then trying to discuss from there. So it was actually really nice because we could more of a dialogue about it versus me presenting to them and then, you know, leaving. And so it was great.
And I did the medical careers booth, and kind of what I did with this was I integrated native healing and their practices and what they do with kind of what we do as nurses and what you can do in the medical field. So, you know, kind of what we've been talking about is, you know, pretty much people leave the reservation if they're making it or if, you know, whatever. And so something that I was really trying to incorporate was you can do education, stay here and take care of your family members and take care of community members. And there's vocational schools and there's a community college and a university within driving a distance that they can actually stay local, live with their family still, and then get back to the community and work for Indian Health Services or within the community. And I taught them 2 or 3 skills that they can actually use at home. So we did like listen to hearts, I did blood pressures, and then I taught them how to do the ACE wrapping. So we taught them some things about the different careers and just some different medical skills. So they're listening to each other. So that's about it.
So that's a lot of text, but what I did is I just pulled some of the thoughts from students and their evaluations that I thought was worth sharing with you, so just to share a couple of them with you. It really stirred a lot of anger within me that this population has been completely oppressed and continues to be. I will look for ways in my personal life to give back in this community and encourage cultural programs for this population. And I like this one. It's possible to make a difference to one person, even if it feels like it's something small. There are people working very hard every day to improve the conditions on the reservation, and I feel fortunate to have met them. It's not a hopeless situation. The kids on the reservation are incredible, and a positive change can start with them. So these are some of the reflections that students had on their evaluations, and I want to give them a chance to share, and also faculty, any reflections or lasting impressions you've had or thought about since you've been back. Who wants to start?